And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you, of course, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time around the country and the world. You could find Wake Up Call on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, Wake Up Call, as well as wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt as well. And of course, once we go live, you jump into the archives. You'll find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You know that every Tuesday we have the opportunity weekly to bring you our Bearcat Time, and that includes our Moments with Marshall featuring Binghamton University Athletics Director Gene Marshall, as well as what we're bringing you today, the Bearcat Breakroom, where we have the opportunity to speak with student athletes, coaches, and administration here as a greater part of the Bearcat family. And we're here a little bit earlier with you this Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Tuesdays at 10 a.m. is when you'll find us, but we're doing it a little bit earlier this time around. And for the Bearcat Breakroom, I have Harrison Blech here with me, and Binghamton men's golf student athlete inside of the 2024-25 season, who just finished a home event, tied for 7th at the event, as we bring him in. Harrison, how are you?
Good. How are you, Dan? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and happy to have you. So, I mean, Harrison, let's go back to the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. Why golf? How did you fall in love with the sport?
Well, I mean, the real question is, was it even a choice for me? My dad played golf growing up, or when he was in college, he picked it up, and he was saying my son's going to play golf. So by the time I was 2, 3 years old, I already had a club in my hand, and I'd been playing my entire life, and I don't even really know a life before golf. So it's always been one of the biggest, hobbies slash passions that I've had throughout my entire life, and that's where it started.
So you said your dad picked it up and he played in college. Why did he fall in love with it? What did he say to you about how golf kind of called him?
Well, he picked it up in college. He didn't play in college.
Oh,
He
he
didn't
just
play.
picked it up in college. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you, man. Like that was probably he's giving me those conversations maybe 10, 20 years ago now. But he always loved it. He always tells me that, he would get to the range after work and he just had a knack for it, and it became like an addiction for him, and he always played it. And as a young kid, I just always wanted to do what he did. So I was with him at the range on the course, and I fell in love with it just like he did.
So he picks up the sport in college. You end up playing the sport in college. What is that like for you to know that your dad picked up the game and playing the game and being around it, and then you, as the next in line, have had the opportunity to take what he picked up in college and to go into college being able to play it at the Division I level?
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome feeling being able to see like something that was passionate for him, after college and becoming an adult, and being able to take that for my whole life and play as a Division I athlete. He understands what it takes to play good golf. He's a good player himself. So to be able to have him know that he's watching me playing golf on a competitive high Division I level, it's an awesome feeling.
And we talk about your dad, Seth, and your mom, Marnie, as well, either on the course or off of the course for them individually. What's been the best advice that you've gotten from mom and dad, from Seth and Marnie?
Um, my dad's obviously had more golf specific advice, especially growing up, around the game. And my mom, more mental support and moral support, just like was always there for me. I don't know if there's any specific moment that I recall them giving me advice, but always just the support that I've had, whether it's, through junior golf and up until college and, even until today, just them being there for me. It was, great to see them out there.
And you obviously have your history connecting to the Golf Performance Academy. Bring me into your experience there before coming to Binghamton University and just what you took away from the Golf Performance Academy.
Yeah, my time there was amazing. I went there my sophomore year. I started there as in the after school program, and once I went there, I was like, this place is really awesome. and decided that for my junior and senior year that I was going to go to high school there. Um, and small school. My first year there was I was one of four students, and the next year they like quadruple in size. I was one of like 20 or so.
Yeah.
So definitely like very unorthodox from the typical high school route, but it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Some friendships I made there last a lifetime, and my game was. I can't say what my game would have been had I not gone there, but I think it definitely was beneficial for me. And then I also decided to stay there for an extra gap year and spent the year there just practicing and working out and figuring out what I want to do with my life. And it was, some of the best years of my life that I've had.
And like you said, I mean, it's not your typical high school life that one would have. So how did it all kind of happen and come about for you to have that opportunity to go to an academy and really focus in that world of golf and to have an atypical opportunity before going to college?
Well, what was really interesting was that, like I think the junior year, if you know golf, the junior year, the senior year is really that's the important year, the important summer. So my goal was, I'm going to go to the Golf Performance Academy. I'm going to go there for a year for my junior year. I'm going to go to school there. I'm going to get good grades. I'm going to get the SAT prep. I'm going to, work on my game and so on and so forth. And then I come back to my original high school, my public high school that I went to for 2 years
Yeah.
from the senior year and get more of that, high school experience. But because of COVID and everything was shut down, had I gone back to my original high school, I would have just been taking it from my bedroom. Um, Whereas because our school was so small, it was pretty much like status quo for us, and we were able to do everything that we would have normally. So that was really a huge decision factor was that, because of COVID, whole high school was, remote and I didn't want to go, it wasn't worth it to switch back for that experience. So I stayed there my senior year and, definitely paid off that decision.
Do you feel like, like you said, COVID kind of affecting things and staying at the academy as opposed to going back to a traditional high school? Is there any look back on that saying, oh, I wish I had this traditionally, I wish I did that most people get to do? Or do you look back on it and say that in some way, as bad as COVID was for the world, that there was a positive that you took out of it, which was a unique scenario of staying at the academy for your senior year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's when I look back on that experience, there's no regrets. There's no, oh, I wish I went back so I could have my graduation or my senior prom, whatever it was. All the experiences that I got through there was well more than worth it than going to a regular high school. And yeah, as unfortunate as the COVID pandemic was, it brought about an opportunity for me and it made a hard decision fairly easy for me to go back, and it was something that I'll never regret.
That coming here from Harrison Blech as we're here in this Bearcat Breakroom with Binghamton men's golf in the spotlight here inside of the 2024-25 season on Wake Up Call. Your freshman season 2022-23, you competed in 8 tournaments and you got second place in 3 of those tournaments. And then in 2023-24, last season as a sophomore, you took those 8 tournaments, you added 2 and competed in 10 of those tournaments. And just to kind of go through some of this history, finished tied for 16th at the Lehigh Invitational for your first collegiate top 20 finish. Finished tied for 18th at the Southern Invitational after getting your lowest 54-hole score of the season. And then looking at shooting 68 and 3 under par in the final round of the Cornell Fall Invitational, where you finished tied for 21st and qualified for the NEC Spring 2024 Honor Roll. So when you look back at the prior 2 seasons and 18 tournaments in total over those 2 seasons, what were your best takeaways, best moments that you kind of reflect back on?
It's interesting. Like in golf, you always tend to reflect back on the negative moments, and the positive ones seem to shrink away. But something that I always try to remember is looking back on those tournaments and trying to remember like some of those highlights that you just mentioned. My top 20 place at Lehigh and the Southern Invitational, and how well I played at that second round at Watchung Valley, and try to just remember back those events and recall those when I'm having a tough day, and know that like I have it in me, and that I could always put up a good score, and every day is a new day, and that at any point we could do something that we haven't done before. So
Yeah, and for you, I mean, golf can feel individualistic at times, right? Because, you're up there doing your thing on the tee, you're up there on the green and whatnot. But when you look at the team aspect of Binghamton, was there anything when you were looking around at the right fit for you that spoke to you? Like, did you have time to get around the team in recruitment and say, there's an atmosphere here that I like, there's a culture here? Was there anything that stuck out to you when it came to the team aspect of Binghamton golf?
yeah, I mean, if we want to put aside like academics and all that and the golf program itself, just specifically the team,
Yeah.
I came from my initial visit. Lucky enough to have one of my future teammates, would have given me a tour of the campus, and it was a really good experience. And then teammate Sean Colella, I had known him from junior golf, and so it felt like I already had a connection with one of the players on the team, and it was easy for me to transition into. And I think my time at the Golf Performance Academy had given me a little bit of a preview as to what college golf would be like. There was just, even though we were still competing individually and it wasn't a team aspect, we still kind of felt like a team
Yeah.
there. So it was easier to transition into um, college golf when we actually were playing as a team, even though it is still an individual sport.
Yeah, and we'll have plenty coming up here. Speaking of the team and how the team has performed this season, knowing that we have the Lehigh Invitational coming up right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Bearcat Breakroom with Harrison Blech celebrating Binghamton men's golf for the Bearcats here in the 2024-25 season. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in '07, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servamation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machines, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machines. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we, of course, are inside of our weekly Bearcat Time in this Bearcat Breakroom featuring Harrison Blech of the Binghamton Bearcats men's golf program here inside of the 2024-25 season. Harrison, when we take a look at the season and how it's gone up to this point, you started out with the Alex Lagowitz Memorial out in Hamilton, New York, over with Collegiate at the end of August, beginning of September, and then went on to the Howard USF Intercollegiate in Rockville, Maryland, and then on to the GOAT in Annapolis, Maryland, before having the Matthews Auto Collegiate Golf Invitational at home in the southern tier of New York here for Binghamton's hosted event. So when we look at Collegiate and we look at Howard and Navy, let's go to those three first, and just what those host sites were like for you, the experience was, and just what your takeaways were this season to be at the Lagowitz, the Howard USF, and then the GOAT before you came back home.
Yeah, so I think Collegiate is a little different than the other two, as this is my third year competing there. Know the course pretty well, and I've had experience there.
Yeah.
First tournament is always a little nerve-wracking. You haven't necessarily played competitive college golf in a while, so it's you got to get back into the swing of things. And I think all of us as a team, we could say we didn't necessarily perform as well as we would have liked to, but I think we finished on a strong note and had a good second day, and we felt good about going into uh, Howard's event, which we could say about Howard and both Navy were new courses that we had never played before, new venues. So, trying to get there, know the course, get used to the type of the conditions for both of those courses. I think Howard was a little bit of an easier setup for us than Navy was, and it shows by the scores, and we put up some decent scores at Howard, whereas Navy wasn't as good for us. But I think both of those tournaments were good learning experiences for what we can do, and put us in a good position to succeed here at the home tournament here.
Yeah, and the most recent home tournament, which we're on the heels of this week, which was Sunday and Monday, is the Matthews Auto Collegiate Golf Invitational at Appalachian, New York. And to finish as a team second of 17 that were at this invitational, and you being a huge part of that, finishing in the top 10, just what you could say about this specific tournament. And I mean, we'll break down kind of your work and what you did in this in a minute, but to look at it as a team and to know that the best finish that the team has had all season has been right here in the state of New York, in your home area, to finish second of 17, and you being a huge part of that runner-up opportunity here at the Invitational for Binghamton.
Yeah, I mean, I think playing the home tournament, there's obviously an advantage. It's your home course, you're used to it, something you know. Um, but when that happens, it comes with added pressure. You feel like you need to play well. It's your home course. You should play well. You got, maybe more parents there, more people watching than you normally would see at other tournaments. So as much as it's definitely an advantage that you're playing your home course, there definitely is some added pressure that you feel like you need to play well because it's your home event. And I think as a team, we all stepped up to it, and we've had some good qualifying numbers. We've seen good numbers throughout the whole season, and it was great to see myself along with the rest of the guys on the team to be able to compete well and put up good numbers. And unfortunately, we were in first place after the first day, but Sacred Heart had a really good second day, and we're happy with how we finished in second place here. It was a productive and good day for us.
Yeah, and to finally be back at home for this team, and to know that you've been playing since the end of August in these opportunities on the road, to be in your, like you said, be on your home course, be in familiar digs, sleep in your own bed type of thing. I know you said there's added pressure of hosting an invitational, but what are the positives beyond the fact that it's the golf course that you're used to being with and used to being on? What other positives do you take from when you get to represent and you get to see other schools travel to you? Just what that experience is like to see everybody else come into town instead of you being one of a bunch that's going on the road.
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest things, which may sound silly, but is it being close, and sometimes the hotels aren't always close, and so we get to wake up a little bit later in the day and get a little more sleep in. Um, but when it's your home course, and the other schools are traveling to you, you feel like you belong, and you own the course, and this is your place, and they're coming to take you down. So you feel like you're already have a leg up on everyone, and it gives everyone I think a boost of confidence going into the weekend, saying like we know how to play this course. This is our home course, and um, it just provides more of an advantage. So even though there might be that added pressure, that does provide some confidence in saying that we know this course and the practice facilities, and everything down to the last minute detail better than anyone else who's going to be playing it in this tournament.
And we look at your top 10 finish here in the tournament that you just had for the Matthews Invitational and Binghamton hosting. You shot 70 on day one. You shot 72 after that. Finished 142, 2 under par, the lowest score of your career through 36 holes. First and foremost, congratulations. Secondly, what do you attribute to this career invitational for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said before, we had really good learning experiences at Navy, and Howard. I think that played a large role in it. Just the preparation the week before, I put a lot of work into my putting and my short game. And I felt like in the past when I've prepared well for a tournament, it's always been a lot of work in my putting and short game, and that's what's propelled me to some success. But also, our coach was fortunate us to have us meet with a mental coach. I believe it was on Wednesday earlier this week, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think that that definitely helped me out. And I've back in my academy, I've had a lot of experience with mental coaches and the mental side of the game, but I think just hearing it from another person and hearing it again was a huge help, and it definitely, I mean, clearly there was a correlation because we had that meeting on Wednesday, and then I had my best college score ever. So, I think a lot of it has to go to the mental side because I felt not only did I play well, but I felt confident the whole weekend.
Yeah, and like you said, the mental coach aspect of it, and you having experience with it before coming to Binghamton, mental health is something we talk about now. We try to have awareness of it now. When I was growing up, when I was in college, I mean, there were some things in high school, some things in college, but it wasn't being talked about a lot. If
Right.
there wasn't an emphasis on it, it was toughen up, figure it out, you know, don't let it bother you. People just kind of brushing it off. And in today's world, we talk about mental health. We speak on the awareness. We speak on needing to have resources for people to go to in a case that they need them or they just want to have something there, that you don't put someone in a mental health crisis, that you deal with mental health on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly, so that people are better off and never in a place of chaos, so to speak. I like that you brought it up because I like that it matters now, and I'm sad that it really didn't seem to before. You said you enjoyed it. Obviously, there's a correlation in how you played and having your best, career through 36 holes right after you had this mental health coach come in. But just what you can say to the effect of why you think it's so important to have a mental health coach and what you appreciate about Binghamton for them focusing on that and even wanting to give you that resource.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's evident in golf that it plays a huge role, and just trying to stay positive after the whole round, it makes a world of a difference. And I know there was times throughout my round today where maybe in the past I would have gotten negative and I would have spiraled down and would have made a few bogeys in a row, but today and yesterday I was able to come back with birdies and keep it in good mindset. And I think that that's proof enough that how important the mental side of it is, and I think it was a really great experience for us to be able to meet with that coach. And our coach did a good job of reaching out to him, and I think I've been asking for it for a long time, and it was good to see that he was able to get that coach in to help us out because I think it played a big role on for my game and perhaps everyone else's game as well because we did still finish in second place and we had one of our better tournaments of the year.
And you brought it up that it wasn't just you, but it's, a team is a sum of its parts. What can you say about this specific season, this squad here in 2024, your teammates, and what it's like to be inside of the Binghamton men's golf program here in 2024 with the makeup that you have with the student athletes that are by your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think with golf, it's an interesting dynamic because you only have 8 players on a team. So oftentimes you see a lot of turnover in teams throughout from one year to the next. And I've been lucky enough to have pretty much the same teammates for all 3 years so far, plus or minus one. So we've gotten real close, and the team camaraderie is really good, and we're all rooting for each other. So it's great to see us all play well, especially at a home tournament. It feels like we accomplished something pretty special, and to go out there on the last day and have a good successful day and finish in second place is huge for us, and it is a good confidence booster going into the last tournament of the season.
Yeah, you said that the first three tournaments helped you for this one where the team has had its most success this season. So if the first three helped to be where you are coming off of the one that Binghamton hosted here for the Invitational that you had in upstate New York, what does this Binghamton opportunity do for what's coming up in the middle of October with Lehigh? If the first three help this one, what does this do for the team at this point going into the Lehigh Invitational?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just proves that, we have what it takes to compete well and finish well in a tournament and put up good scores. I think everyone should be pretty confident going into Lehigh, and we should feel like we could go out there and finish well and compete to win the tournament. We have the experience now. We've learned a lot from the first three tournaments, and now we've put it together and shown that we can compete and finish high up in a tournament. And I think if we combine all that together, we could make a special finish at Lehigh's event.
Do you have? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you could pick over the last couple days your favorite moment of the season, but is it this moment? Is it here at Binghamton's hosted Invitational coming off of a career event for you? Or is there something else you could go to this season that you would consider that keep it in your back pocket for a rainy day moment?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of good moments throughout the whole year. I had a lot of great shots today and yesterday. A lot of moments that I could look back on and say, I had a tough, challenging moment here, and I won that moment, and definitely stuff I can recall. But I think just on the 18th hole today, I had a tough birdie putt and I missed it, and it rolled out, and I had a tough par putt coming back, and just looking back on that, being nervous to finish that last putt, and the fact that I was able to make it for par, I think that'll be a moment that I'll always look back on that last putt on 18 today.
And before we jump into rapid fire, Coach Bernie, just what you could say about your leader here with the Binghamton men's golf program. What spoke to you in recruitment specifically, about this program, to go a little bit deeper into it? Because I know we talked about it a little bit before, but when you look at your coach, what does he embody that speaks to you? And like you said, there's turnover. There's, when you look at golf programs, there's not a ton of student athletes on the team, and you, like you said, you witness turnover. What is it about his message that speaks to you consistently over time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was great to see that, when I was being recruited, that he was clearly a competitive guy. He wants to win. He wants what's best for us. And ultimately, he wants to win, and I want him to come to a program that we felt like winning was the number one priority, and that's definitely the case here at Binghamton. And his main goal is for us to win, and he's always proud of us no matter how we finish. But it's very competitive, and as much as today was a good week, our goal is to win a tournament, so we're gonna be looking for Lehigh for that.
How has he specifically made you better? What can you look at in your game and say, Coach's fingerprints are on that?
I'm sure, it's tough to pinpoint an exact spot. I'm sure that he's had an impact on every part of my game. There's been times where I've called to him for swing advice or mental advice or whatever it may be. Maybe if it's even just on the course, while I'm playing, just, a good motivation moment that he has for me and making me feel more confident on the course. But I don't know if I can specifically pinpoint one thing, but I think just overall, his impact has definitely been helpful.
Harrison, for you, like I said, you can't specifically pinpoint one thing, but you feel like there's a lot of different areas where Coach Bernie's helped you out. When you look back on the first day you picked up a golf club to today, what are you most proud of the history of it all? Not just at Binghamton, but in general, of somebody who, like you said, my dad picked up the game, and so, I was essentially born to play it. My kid's going to play it. When you go back to the moment of picking up the golf club to where you stand today, where is your pride lying in your game and in this journey?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that, growing up, junior golfer, my main goal is playing Division I golf. So when I was recruited to play here for Binghamton, that was probably my biggest accomplishment in my golf career. My goal was to play Division I golf, and I achieved that goal. I set a high goal for myself in middle school, high school, and I was able to achieve it. I think one of my biggest accomplishments earlier on in my junior career was a few of the tournament wins that I had. Those gave me the confidence to know that I belong here and that I should be playing at this type of level. But I'm still looking forward to making more memories and making more accomplishments and achieving my goals going forward. And today was a great step in that, and making that putt on 18 will be, like I said, something that I never forget. And it was a great moment for me.
Harrison Blech celebrating the moment here, helping the team to finish second of 17 in Binghamton's hosted Invitational, and tying for seventh personally for himself on a career day with his score best through 36 holes ever in his collegiate career. We'll take a step aside here in this Bearcat break room. When we come back, Harrison and I will play rapid fire. Could be about golf, could be about literally anything in the world. That's coming up right after this. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We are here inside of the Bearcat Breakroom, featuring Harrison Blech, Binghamton men's golf student athlete here inside of the 2024-25 season, and of course inside of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University and your Bearcats. It is now time for Harrison and I to play Rapid Fire. It could be about literally anything in the world. I don't know what he's going to ask me. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. And it can be any topic. Harrison, you get to go first. What do you got for me?
All right, we'll start off. I see some sports jerseys back there. Who are they, and what are some of your favorite teams?
So, appreciate the question. So, I'll start with John Strajewski. So, John is here because I gave him my word. I said, I'm going to do a wall of fame, and I promise you, you will be the first jersey on it. And so, we got stuff to put up in the studio and whatnot. So we just put these up recently, and John is the first one to go up as promised. And so celebrating John Strajewski, he was the kicker for Joe Flacco at the University of Delaware for the Blue Hens, and that is signed from his Philadelphia Soul Arena League professional kicking days. And I literally, that's his jersey from the game signed, and it felt damp. Like he had literally taken it off, signed it, and sent it over to me. And then Julian Wiggum, my dude, so from Syracuse, that's from that was the official Texas Bowl jersey. So not only a Syracuse ACC jersey and my hometown that I love dearly, but the Texas Bowl that they won under Scott Schaefer, and he signed it to Dan, good broadcaster, better friend, Julian Wiggum. And he wore number 1 and number 21 at Syracuse. 21 is my favorite number, so fitting. And my favorite teams, they're all over the place. Let's run the gamut. Syracuse, growing up for football, and basketball growing up, my hometown. And then baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, which they're over my shoulder. They're Let's Go D-backs, and I have a World Series thing because my dad and I brought each other to the World Series in 2023, Game 3 in Arizona. So Diamondbacks for MLB, NBA Toronto Raptors from day one, and Jaguars in the NFL from day one. NHL, the Anaheim Ducks, because I like the movies The Mighty Ducks as a kid, so it was an easy transition. And MLS from the beginning, Charlotte FC. So those are my squads. And then when we have international golf or international soccer and whatnot, I do have some guys I like in golf. Tiger got me to watch. Big fan of Davis Love III. Rest in peace to Payne Stewart. and he was fun. And Bryson DeChambeau, and that connection connects me to Bryson because of Payne. And then I would say internationally, when it comes to soccer, I'm Spanish and Italian, so Italy and Spain are easy for me to root for when there's a World Cup or a Euro. And yeah, I think that covers my bases.
Very cool. All over the place with those teams.
Oh yeah. My question back to you, Harrison, if you could eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what dessert could you live on? And then secondly, what is the one food that you've tried that you wish never existed?
My favorite dessert probably would be just regular chocolate ice cream.
Okay.
If I had to live on it forever, though, that might be tough. I might have to go with more of like a chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
And hot take, but I think one of the foods that more of a condiment than a food, but something I cannot stand is ketchup. I very much dislike ketchup.
I know
would have no
people.
problem if that ever existed.
I do know people that use it as food. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, it's a scary thing. What's your next question for me?
I think kind of just a basic one, but how'd you get into podcasting and doing it with the Binghamton University?
Yeah, so I mean, I got into broadcasting almost 21 years ago. 21 years in November of this year. And I just, as a kid, I started writing my own stories on my dad's word processor when I was 5. And I have that in my office now, which is connected to my studio to remind me how I started. So I was telling stories when I was little. I was writing stories when I was 5 years old. I have had a big imagination my whole life. I love bringing people together. I love getting people to laugh. I have a photographic memory, and in my collection of sports cards, I wasn't realizing at first that I was looking at a card and flipping it over and then remembering and going, I just sit at the kitchen table and say, hey, Ma, did you know that, Damon Stoudemire had 19.8 points per game when he was Rookie of the Year back in 95, 96, and he came from the Arizona Wildcats, and he had 3 assists a game, he had a couple steals a game, and da-da-da-da. So, did you know that his middle name is Lamon, so it looks like Damon Layman Stoudemire, but I think it might be Lamone, and like just things that I would pick up. So it being a storyteller, wanting to bring people together, loving sports, having a photographic memory, it kind of all just became something. And I never thought that honesty would be a rarity in the media. But I mean, that morals, values, I have a very strong faith in God. So all of that just went into everything that I've done and everything that I'll always do. It's the person that I am. And I just love genuinely bringing people together and telling people stories. I like moments like this where, I get to know you, Harrison, and the world gets to know you. And then when I'm on campus at Binghamton, now I'm coming up to you and, shaking your hand and saying, hey man, like go out there and kill it today. So I like those things. The little things are the big things to me, the handshakes and the hugs and the talks. And Binghamton, almost 4 years ago, I just really wanted to work with Binghamton. And I call him my adopted grandpa, but Grandpa Bill, who's now up in heaven, he's a huge fan of the area and of the Southern Tier. So to me, Binghamton and all the high schools in the area, the connection came from him in my world of sitting with him. And then I just, I started covering Binghamton and doing things with certain coaches. And I just thought to myself, like, I want to do this multimedia marketing partnership and I really want to do it with Binghamton. And I just really want to tell their story. I don't feel like it's being told. I think from the inside out, there's a lot of great things happening but from the outside in, to have this bridge that can be so unique to the world for Binghamton that I can provide. I just really was relentless in getting in touch with Binghamton, and they said yes. Gene said yes, and I'm very grateful for that.
Very cool.
my question back to you, and this will be our final question here. If you could have dinner, alive or having passed away, if you could have dinner with 3 golfers, who would you sit with and why?
Yeah, think about that one. I think I'd probably, even though growing up, I was a little too young for Tiger at his peak. I think I'd have to go with Tiger Woods just because of the impact that he's had on the game,
Okay.
and really, if you look at the stats, he's in my opinion, he's the greatest golfer of all time. So I definitely say Tiger. Um, hmm, Maybe I'll go with Arnold Palmer as well,
Okay.
just because of his impact on the game, and it seemed like obviously I wasn't around for when he was at his top, but he seemed like above golf and really had an impact on a lot of different people and outside off the course he was a great man. And then lastly, honestly, I'll take a hot take here again with Brooks Koepka. I know he could be a little bit of a controversial figure, but I always liked his mentality. I feel like he just goes out there and not that he doesn't really care, but he's just he's here to win. That's all he cares about, and if he doesn't, it's a disappointment. And so I'd be interested in speaking with him about his experiences.
Okay, I like that. So Brooks, Tiger, and Arnold at your table. I'm sure a lot of people would want to sit at that table. And Harrison Blech here as we sit at the table of the Binghamton Bearcats and celebrate all the success they've had, including the most recent success and the Lehigh Invitational, which is coming up here in mid-October, actually right before my birthday. So I'm going to have a big ask from you, Harrison, and the squad. I want to see record individual and team finishes. I want an early birthday gift to see the Bearcats claw their way to number 1 in that invitational.
Well, off of this number 2 finish here, hopefully we can give you that at Lehigh coming up.
Excited for it. Binghamton men's golf here with Harrison Blech, and a big shout out to all of the student athletes, past, present, and future with Binghamton men's golf. And of course, shout out to Coach and to everybody over at Binghamton University, as well as I stated, the alumni. So for this Bearcat Breakroom, Harrison, I want to say thank you. Congratulations on your historic personal day and on a great 2 days for the entire team for Binghamton University to finish second of 17 in your home opportunity. So I look forward to talking with you and the squad soon. My best to you at Lehigh, and thanks for everything.
All right, Dan. It was a pleasure.
All right, take care, man. See you. That coming from Harrison Blech here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. We have one final step aside, and we're going to take it right now. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Here is a message from Fire Pit Barbecue and Saloon, located on 264 New York Route 48 in Fulton, New York.
The aroma from the fire pit itself, you can smell it, and it just makes you want to come in and get the food. I feel like when you walk in the door, it's just very welcoming, from the employees to the atmosphere. We make it fresh every day, full of flavor, and you can get it plain and still has so much flavor, or you can choose from one of our many sauces, so you can get the same plate at the table, but each person can have a different flavor to it. When I first walked in, before the place was even open, I came in and talked to the manager, and she just made me feel like, just feels really comfortable, feels like a family. We work as a team, we work together. We do bands on the weekends, Friday, Saturday nights. We are doing trivia on Tuesday nights. Monday night, we're going to be doing some karaoke. So there's a lot of different things for kind of everybody. Once a month, Dan Tortora is going to be in here hosting his show with special guests from the sports community. Stop on down to Fire Pit Barbecue and Saloon. We are open 7 days a week, located at 264 New York Route 48 in Fulton. We also offer catering. Feel free to give us a call, 315-402-2004.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and collectible card shop. You can go and find them on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, as well as Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and Magic the Gathering while supplies last. So many awesome products, so many unique things. You never know what you're going to find with the singles, with the graded cards in the MLB, NBA, and NFL boxes. They have every single MLB team, every NFL team, every NBA team. Nobody does that. It takes a ton of work, and they put all of this work and attention to detail in, and I appreciate it so very much. They're constantly bringing in new product. They're constantly having product go out because people love the things that they bring in. So you got to get into GG Cards and Breaks today, and then you should probably go a few days from now as well. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Thank you to GG Cards and Breaks for all that you do to be different in such a great way. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for tuning in on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. And of course, Monday through Friday, you will also find us on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So make sure you're tuning in worldwide Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And once the show goes live, it jumps into the archives, and you'll find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to the Brooklyn Pickle by Pinehurst Golf Course. Perfect for today's golf conversation with Harrison Blech. And that is on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, for Brooklyn Pickle. And our Central and Upstate New York partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Servomation, reinventing, reimagining, and reinvigorating the world of vending, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, Chick-fil-A, Cicero, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Fire Pit Barbecue and Saloon, our newest partner. And of course, Great Lakes Honda City, Bryan's Landing, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and Binghamton University Bearcats. Find all of our specials that you won't find anywhere else by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Lemoyne, the BSC Syracuse, and the Binghamton playlists. You can also find them on WakeUpCallDT.com and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, Syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and BUBearcats.com. For now, for a Wake Up Call, this has been a wonderful opportunity to speak with Harrison Blech for this Bearcat Breakroom. I hope you have a fantastic day. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And God bless, no stress. Do your best.